salt was not always as cheap and easily available as today. Not so long ago, it was even known as white gold, and it was a sought-after and even fought-over treasure. Salt was present at the beginnings of human culture, and the reason for this is simple. After the nomadic hunters had settled, they consumed a lot less meat and instead more crops harvested from their land. But crops contain significantly less salt than animal meat does. That's why we often find traces of early human life close to where there's salt.
In Europe, it has been shown that people have harvested salt since the Bronze Age. The Celts even had underground mines for salt. And the Romans boiled salt rocks in water to extract the sought-after product. Salt dissolves completely in water, in contrast to stone. By heating up the rocks, salt solution could be made, which was heated once again in clay jugs. The water evaporated and pure salt was left behind. In the Middle Ages, in the Alpine region, another revolutionary technology was developed: leaching. The water flowed directly into the salt deposit and came out as salt solution. By boiling this solution, the salt could be further purified. Still today, many names of places with the word salt, like Salzburg, or the Middle High German word Hall, as in Bad Reichenhall, remind us of the important role salt has always played for humans.
So, Dr. Lamschus, how big was the salt industry in the Middle Ages here?
Oh, large. 216 boiling pans were used to prepare the salt. Imagine Lüneburg of the Middle Ages as Wolfsburg today. Around 4,000 to 5,000 people lived off the salt industry here, and with a population of 12,000 to 14,000 people, that's already a very significant amount.
Dr. Lamschus, you called it a large-scale industry. Can you clarify that? How did people work in those days?
Yes, there was a clear division of labor here. The miners had the task of directing the salt solution which lay underground into big wells. From these wells, the salt solution was brought up to ground level. Fire was made underneath, again by other people. The solution was boiled for roughly 1.5 to 3 hours, and then salt water became salt.
Really hot here. I don't think it was very easy work back then.
And this production method continued in this way for over 1,000 years.
1,000 years?
Yes.
That's a long time.
Yep.
The salt from Lüneburg and salt from other manufacturers made up the most important traded goods in the Middle Ages. A complex infrastructure developed, with the best streets being the salt streets, which were used by traders of all kinds. Regional rulers set taxes for the use of the roads, the motorway tax of those days, and thus made whole regions prosperous and famous. Some examples are cities like Lüneburg and Lübeck in northern Germany, and in southern Germany, the area around Bad Reichenhall.
The salt routes were planned with incredible precision. Why was it like that?
Yes, the answer is simple. It was mainly on rivers that salt could be transported. Salt being a bulk material was shipped in large amounts. You couldn't just load it, all of it, on a horse and cart. And if you shipped it on the road, then the many different sovereigns and princes were very interested in having it in their territory because of the taxes and all the other fees. From the salt, a great deal of money could be made.
Salt repeatedly had an influence on European history. In the 12th century, for example, the Bishop of Freising, Otto, controlled the Isar Bridge, through which the salt route from Salzburg ran to the prosperous Augsburg. The bridge tax and the market on the Salt Road made him and his diocese very rich. This didn't suit Henry the Lion, the Duke of Saxony, at all. His territory lay only a little further in the south, but still he was not really able to profit from the salt trade. The aspiring Lion took action and had the Bishop's Bridge burnt down, built a new one in his own area, and diverted the salt business into his territory. Where Henry's Bridge used to stand over the Isar, a new city bloomed: Munich.
God bless our bread and salt, an old German proverb. Only since the end of the state salt monopoly and start of industrialization did salt become so cheap as it is today.